Breaking news.
We begin with breaking news. Arrests have been made in the case of 6 bodies found in the Mojave Desert. There's a live news conference underway right now. Let's go ahead and go to that.
North of the city of Adelanto. As a result of that, I want to say thank you for all of your patience. I know we've seen numerous requests as to what really caused that homicide and what information that we had as it related to that homicide. And I want to tell you that from the moment we started this investigation, we started to receive strong leads. And after I was briefed, I was quite confident that we'd be able to get the subjects that were involved in this homicide into custody. And with that, and that's the tireless efforts from our homicide team, from our specialized enforcement detail, and the Victor Valley Station, I'm pleased to announce that the 5 suspects that you see on this chart to my right were those responsible for this homicide. Before I introduce the sergeant that was in charge of this investigation and led this investigation, we used some human source and technological sources to be able to identify the suspects in this case. I would please ask your patience once again. The DA is currently reviewing the filing for this case, and there may be some questions that we're unable to answer, and we'll let you know what those are. And with that, I'd like to introduce Sergeant Mike Warwick to go through some of the details of this case. Mike.
Good afternoon. My name is Sergeant Michael Warwick. That's M-I-C-H-A-E-L-W-A-R-R-I-C-K.
Thank you.
Yes, is this better? All right. I'm a sergeant with the Specialized Investigation Division, Homicide Detail. Our Specialized Investigation Division has been working on this around the clock to bring these people to justice and justice for our victims. They were murdered in the remote area north of Adelanto in San Bernardino County. I appreciate the public and the media's patience with us, which allowed our team to focus our efforts in finding those responsible. I want to remind everyone this is still an active investigation, and we will not be able to disclose all the facts of this case. What I can confirm is on Tuesday, January 23rd, 2024, at approximately 2016 hours, dispatchers received a 911 call from a subject who spoke Spanish. The caller told dispatchers he was shot, but he did not know the location he was at, and it appeared the call ended. Dispatchers tracked the phone via latitude and longitude coordinates to a remote area in the unincorporated Adelanto area near Lessing Avenue. Due to the remote location, California Highway Patrol airship assisted our deputies and conducted an extensive search. Once overhead the area, officers discovered a crime scene and what appeared to be multiple gunshot wound victims, 2 vehicles, and one of the vehicles was apparently shot, had multiple gunshot strikes in it. The 2 vehicles were a Dodge Caravan and a Chevy Trailblazer. At approximately 20:40 hours, deputies from the Victor Valley Station arrived on scene and located 4 deceased males with severe burns. A 5th deceased male was located in the Chevy Trailblazer, and a 6th deceased male a short distance away who sustained a gunshot wound. Our sheriff's homicide investigators assumed the investigation to process the scene and find those responsible for these heinous acts of violence. I can confirm 4 of the 6 victims have been identified. The name of the 4th victim is still being withheld pending next of kin notification. Victim number 1 is Baldemar Mondragon Albaran, 34-year-old resident of Adelanto. Victim number 2, Franklin Noel Bonilla, 22-year-old Hispanic male adult from Hesperia. Victim number 3, Kevin Darial Bonilla, 25-year-old Hispanic male adult, resident of Hesperia. Victim number 4 was a 45-year-old Hispanic male adult. Victims 5 and 6 have yet to be identified. Investigators believe Franklin Bonilla was the subject who called 911 after being shot by the suspects. To give you a timeline, it took us about a day and a half to process the extensive crime scene with 6 deceased victims, multiple vehicles, and to collect the evidence. We also had to work with the Sheriff's Coroner's Division to perform the autopsies on the 6 victims to determine cause of death. I can confirm all victims had apparent fatal gunshot injuries. Additionally, 4 of the 6 were burned at the location by the suspects. As far as the motives, we are confident that this appears to be a dispute over marijuana, which resulted in the murders. Our investigators combed through evidence collected at the scene and followed up on information provided by the community. Through extensive investigation with the assistance of the Sheriff's Narcotics and Specialized Enforcement Divisions, on Sunday, January 28, 2023, we were able to serve multiple search warrants in the town of Apple Valley, Adelanto, and the Los Angeles County area of Pinon Hills. We arrested 5 suspects involved in the murder of the 6 victims. The suspects are identified as Toniel Baez Duarte, age 34, resident of Apple Valley; Mateo Baez Duarte, age 24, resident of Apple Valley; Jose Nicolas Hernandez Sarabia, age 33, resident of Adelanto; Jose Gregorio Hernandez Sarabia, age 34, resident of Adelanto; Jose Manuel Burgos Parra, age 26, resident of Adelanto. Our detectives recovered evidence, including 8 firearms. Our Scientific Investigations Division will forensically process the evidence and determine if any of those firearms were the firearms used in our murders. We are still conducting follow-up investigation, but we are confident we have arrested all the suspects in this case. They are currently in custody with no bail, pending a review of the case from the San Bernardino County District Attorney's Office. I'm proud of the work. My team did. They spent sleepless hours bringing justice to the victim and their families. I can now take some questions.
Yeah, I have 2 questions. Emily Valdez, KNX. The first question is this cartel or gang related? And the second one relates to, I know there's a lot of illegal marijuana grows. When you say it's over marijuana, was this like a major marijuana production? Or did somebody steal? Like, can you elaborate on that a little?
To the first question, obviously it's an open investigation. There's a lot going on. There's certain things at the scene that show a level of violence that obviously raises some interesting questions for us. But at this point in the investigation, we can't comment on if we believe this is cartel related or not. And to the second question,
Elaborate a little more on the marijuana. Was it from an illegal grow? Because marijuana is illegal in the state of California.
Emily, I'll grab that mic.
Yeah.
So I'm going to kind of give you a little bit of backup and talk a little bit about the region and what we've experienced out there in that region. So, and one thing that hasn't been mentioned yet, we need to remember that even looks like maybe the victims might have been involved in some level of criminal activity in this. We still need to always acknowledge the human perspective of this, and there are true victims in this. And as a result of what's going on in that area, to answer your question, in the last year, our marijuana enforcement teams, they served a total of 411 search warrants for illegal marijuana grows, and we're just talking a 365-day period. Discovered 14 honey oil labs, recovered 655,000 marijuana plants, 74,000 pounds of processed marijuana, and $370 million. During that period of time, our team served 11 search warrants in the immediate area where the murders took place. And they served approximately 40 search warrants to the west of that area that we call the Shadow Mountain area. So this is an area known for illicit marijuana. Does that help you a little bit? Okay. Thank you. Any other questions?
Illicit marijuana growers.
Yes. Yes, absolutely.
And this was related to an illicit marijuana grow?
For all intents and purposes, it looks like illicit marijuana was the driving force behind these murders. And that's all we really know at this point. And I think we need to acknowledge really, why we're here and why are we talking about illicit marijuana. And as you said, this is legal in the state of California. The reality is Proposition 64 in the fine print took illicit marijuana and moved it from a felony to a misdemeanor. And the reality of this is by allowing that, we've unleashed a plague in this California, and the plague is the black market of marijuana and certainly cartel activity and a number of victims that are out there. And it's certainly my hope, I'm seeing a number of legislators change Prop 47 and some things we're concerned about. I hope they take the same view of Prop 64 and change this so that they give law enforcement a fighting chance to put some teeth into this law and to take back and prevent a number of these homicides and other things that we see occurring. If we don't fix that, we're going to continue to do this. I gave you stats for just the past year, but prior to that, thousands of marijuana grows that we've taken out in partnership with the Bureau of Cannabis Control, with partnership with our other state partners and federal partners. But right now, folks, we have gotten a much better control over this. But it's interesting. I just read an article that was produced back in 2020 in Cal Matters, and what the supporters were saying about Prop 64. And it said it would bring the state's booming unregulated recreational marijuana under the rule of law and protect consumers and the environment. And its recognition of decades of prohibition against aggressive enforcement and criminal laws that don't work. That's false, 100%. Our environment, we prize our environment in this state. You go look at our deserts, it's hoop house trash that's left over. A very small water source that's available to the public has been tapped into. Look at this law through the lens of this case and all the statistics that I gave you, and then please research the other counties across the state of California. They have the exact same problems. We need to prevent these types of senseless murders from happening, and we can do it, and we have it in our power. We just need to make an adjustment. The police are not going after people who are smoking marijuana recreationally. It's illicit marijuana, and everything that Prop 64 was promised may possibly occur if we could just simply make that adjustment and change the way that we handle illicit marijuana in this state. Rob?
Two questions. Is it fair to, I know you don't want to say it's cartel related just yet, is it fair to call this organized crime?
Rob, yes, it is. And look, based on our training experience, all of you hired experts that have also been talking about this case until we got to this point of the press conference. Based on our training and experience, we believe a lot of these things are occurring that are maybe related to much bigger things going on. The reality is factually at this point of the case, I can't tell you that. But it certainly looks like it has a lot of the modeling of cartel cases and things of that nature.
And another question, the person who called 911, is that the body that was found like 100 yards away or 200 yards away, the one that was found kind of away from the primary scene?
Mike, can you answer that, please?
Yes, we can say at this point that that was.
Sheriff?
I know there was another question. Brian, go ahead.
Yeah. Did this appear to be a scheduled meetup? And if so, what was supposed to happen? Or does this look more like an ambush?
Brian, maybe all of the above based on evidence we're looking at. But again, once the DA's office reviews this, and it's certainly my hope after we get through the preliminary hearing and a number of things, we'll be able to give it a little bit more information to the group with specificity.
Did the victims get off any shots?
That I'm not sure of. Do we know, Mike?
I don't think we're comfortable speaking to that at this point in the investigation.
Sure, were these legal U.S. citizens?
So a couple of the people that we identified in terms of the victims may be nationally from Honduras. We're not able to, we're working with the consulate right now to make that determination. We're not sure.
A follow-up to Emily's question. So you served search warrants in those multiple locations. Is it accurate to say that those search warrants were issued at those rows? Where were the suspects arrested?
The suspects were arrested on, I would describe it as a compound. It was close to a grow that was being formed but wasn't active yet. A lot of the areas that we were dealing with were adjacent to marijuana grows, but the search warrants themselves, none of them were hit at a grow site.
Can you say if any of those suspects had prior criminal activity or anything on the record?
Not at this point in the investigation. We're
You know what,
still
maybe
working
it's
through
just
all that.
5? Do you think it's just 5 or are there more?
I believe the 5 that we have are the 5 responsible for the crime. I don't think there's anybody else who we would say is responsible for the crime out there.
As best you can, you immediately got leads. What were these leads, and what was the motivation from whoever was calling you guys?
I would love to be able to speak to that, but really, that's definitely part of the investigation that the DA is going to have to review, and that's part of the ultimate adjudication of this that we need, and it's really, we can't release that type of information right now.
Sheriff, I have another follow-up question for you. I feel like, and correct me if I'm wrong, I feel like that this is big thing for all here because it's 6 people, but how many other murders were going on because of these illegal grows in your areas?
So just speaking to San Bernardino County, now obviously anytime you have mass 6 people that are murdered, I mean, that's shocking to your conscience, let's be honest. But I can tell you that since We've been investigating illegal marijuana grows. A number of body dumps and things have been related to this across our county. And to give you an exact number, I'm sorry I don't have that, but it isn't an anomaly. The anomaly here is the amount of people that were murdered, of course. And this is a problem. And this is a problem that's not really being talked about.
You're hearing from San Bernardino County Sheriff Shannon Dykes talking about the arrests of 5 people. Search warrants served yesterday in Pinon Hills, Apple Valley, and Adelanto, resulting in the arrest of those 5 people in the murders of 6 people. His suspicion is that it is related to marijuana. The suspicion is that it's perhaps organized crime, even cartel related. That has not been definitively answered yet. The investigation still underway. But though the shocking crime of 6 bodies found in the Mojave Desert, they believe they have all their suspects in custody now, those people being held without bail. We will, of course, have more detail and release more detail as it becomes available in later editions of Eyewitness News. Hello, I'm Mark Brown. Get more great ABC7 content by clicking the subscribe button for our YouTube channel and download the ABC7 Los Angeles streaming app on Fire TV, Android TV, Apple TV, and Roku to watch on your TV.